Good evening, Club Cult. Pull us out of purgatory and welcome and good evening. Welcome and good evening. What time is it? Kitten time. Kitten time. They're going to think I'm a walking toy. Your voice is like coming back not fully. It's rude. It was so warm out today though. It was wonderful. I want to say it got up to 60. Which I was hoping for a couple more warm days. Because there's work to do in the backyard. And I did some of it today. I'm very proud of myself. Pulled myself up by my parlay bootstraps. And did a lot. Not all of it, but still a lot. I'm proud. I don't know what to do though. I took down the greenhouse. And it's just junk because it was like a starter, try it out, cheap thing to start. But, I might keep some of the curved metal pieces, like for hoop gardening. I don't know. I don't know if I'm being ridiculous saving that or not. But I also don't want to take apart the metal parts that aren't broken because I'm lazy. But the big tarp for the top that's ruined, it's not going to fit in my recycling bin. And I don't want to take it to a recycling center because it's gross. Like, there's literally slugs on it. It's gross. I don't know what to do. I can't just put it on the side of the road because it will blow away and get stickered and ticketed. Welcome, Smoops. Welcome to my daily crisis. How are you doing tonight? Aw, Voya says hello. He says hello. Hello. And tank test on both sides here. Blurp, blurp, blurp. Tank. Tank. Tankity tank. There is in the recycling center slash weird garbage place center, like, not quite a dump, but you can dump electronics and like take your garbage there if you don't have garbage service, etc. I don't know. It's like 15 minutes away. It's close. I just don't want to put the nasty thing in my car. There's no solution to this other than the gross solution. I don't think. Unless I can, I don't know. I kind of want to call my dad and be like, Dad, can you come over tomorrow and help me shove this in the recycle bin? Gunther, you're a little scavenger. But that's kind of like silly. Like, if he can shove it in there, I can shove it in there. But I don't think it'll fit. And garbage was already picked up this week. And I'm not ready to commit to not having any space in the recycle. Not committed to hoarding it in the house. Ah. That makes me miss my truck. Although, that's not a bad idea. I need to work on my car tomorrow. And my buddy who has a truck is going to help me. So, maybe I'll ask. But that's, I don't know, it's kind of out of his way. But we'll figure it out. We'll find out. That's a good idea, though. It's gross. Like, it has slugs on it. I don't want to put it in my car. I don't want to. It's so funny, though. The dogs are so well trained to not go in spaces that they're not allowed. That they literally, like, I trained them to not look at things that they're not allowed to have or go near. And they have not looked in that area. And they haven't explored it yet either. Without me even telling them no. It's funny. I still need to clean it up more. But they don't even know it's down. And it was a whole greenhouse. It's funny. I'm going to flip us over here. We're going to lose audio for a sec. Onto the other side. The other side, the other side. I could hose it off. It's just like all ripped up and like broken everywhere. Like it's a tarp that's mangled, and it's meant to go over a curved something. So like to lay it out flat isn't really an option, but that is a good idea. I did think about that earlier, and I was like, I don't want to lay this whole thing out. I don't want to touch it all over. It's gross. I don't want to touch it. It is a hassle. It's a hassle that I didn't consider when I took it down, because I probably would have left it up if I didn't think about it. Go get your za and prepare to share it with the shittens. They're such little food gremlins. I mean, all cats are, but still. Little gremlins. I should try to remember to register your feeder things tonight. Gunther is eating Voya's crumbs. It doesn't open for him. He's just eating Voya's crumbs. I don't want to wear heels in with. The shoes are so cute with this. I don't want to wear heels in with the babies, though. Heaven forbid that I step on somebody. I don't want to hurt their little beans. I don't want to. Voya, you're so cute. You are peak epitome cuteness. Oh, this light exists to humble me and fall. Hello, Mr. Zeke. Oh, he was chilling over there. Zeke, where'd you go? I said hi to nobody. Zeke Zekerton, where did you go? Zeke Zekerton. The man with the plan. Zeke! Where did he go? Are you in the window? No. Are you under the bed? Where is you? I don't think so. Zeke! Where did he go? Are you under the desk? Excuse me, sir. Head count. Treats? Zeke! Oh, you were in the tunnel. You stinker. You pranked me. You were in the tunnel. You pranked me. You pranked me big. Yes, you did. Okay. Cookie? Gunther? Oh. Okay, Zeke. Oh, yeah. Well, you gotta eat yours. You're too fast, Zeke. Little hungry puppies. You pranked me. You scared me. I thought you disappeared. You're such a handsome boy, Zeke. Look at the camera. You're so pretty. He's a pretty boy. Meow. Demand demands more snacks. Sorry, darling, but it's baby time. It's baby time. I love you, boys. Be good. Behave yourselves. Make good choices. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Etc. Etc. My sweet baboos. My sweet baboos. Ah, lock their little goofy door. Go see the peebles. Hi, Stinkies. Oh, Daisy, you're right by the door. So are you, Mom. That surprises me that you do that, Void. You're as skittish as you are. You sure do like to wait by the door. You sure do. You sure do. Oh, that was a sound. Daisy just like burped. But it sounded like a lurchy glurp. I told you they would steal your pizza. Welcome back, Smoops. Daisy says, alright, I'm clearing some room, making some space. Stripes! No! Oh, you should have stayed there so I could make it look like you're on my shoulder. That would have been cool. But no. No. You didn't want to do that. They're getting so big. Oh my goodness. Alright, let's get your munchy crunchies. Daisy, you're huge. Daisy is officially 1,400 grams. She's 1,435 today. She my chunky lady. My chunky girl. Chunky monkey. Brass monkey. The chunky monkey. Bulk order of Reese's. I'm jealous. That sounds like such an excellent surprise. Yay! They are looking so grown. It's insane. I know, they were little mice. And then they were little rats. And now they're little cats. How did you morph into your little Pokemon? Your little Pokemon. You're a little Pokemon. How did you do that? This is the time of year you crave sweets. I think it's hard not to crave sweets this time of year. Even finding myself wanting more sweet snacks. Did you have an eye boogie? Yes, you do have a little one. I don't think it's a big deal though. I think it's a regular one. Okay. It's so hard to differentiate what's what. You're so cute. Like with the heat being on. You guys have your humidifier, but it's still dry. Alright, let's get you new plates and new food. These are done for. Done for. Dun dun dun. And we gotta fill Mom's water bowl. Did you dump... Floyd, you haven't done this since before you had your children. Floyd did this once before she had the babies. She dumped her water into her food somehow. And now it's all nasty on the bottom. Ew. It's all soaked. I gotta clean that. That's a mess. That's a whole mess. Oh, you know what? That sounds like it would make sense. It has to do with the cold, like our body wants to store more energy. Because we don't hibernate like bears. So we just gotta eat like them and get fluffy and stay warm. Oh, that's not gonna stand up there. I gotta clean out the food bowl. I have an empty bottle in here. I was playing spin the bottle with the babies earlier. And they like it, and it was fun. And we're gonna play for a little bit while we're in here. Okay, now that should stand up there. I don't know who is in charge. Whoever's the tallest at any given point is in charge, I guess. More carbs and sugar. I'm here for it. The water on the food is a thing you remember your family cats doing a lot that gross you out. Yeah, it is. I'm not gonna shove it into the camera, but it is pretty gross. It's all smoosh. Smoosh, smoosh. It's like in their instinct to not only like bury their piss and shit, but also bury their food. So there's no like evidence of them being there, and that's how they protect themselves and keep themselves safe. And yeah. Mom, you haven't done that since before your children, though. Because she did it when she was still in the tents, and I was like, oh, you motherfucker. This is not okay. We're parlay tonight, which there's been a certain amount of atrocity of piracies committed here, so it all makes sense. But thank you. I don't think I did parlay in October. And not since around convention time earlier this year. So I think we're good on no outfit repeating slightly. Slightly. Just hit my hat into the door. Bonk. I'll be right back. Once again, hello, Mom, at the door. Hey, Void. Hey, Void. Hello. Do we want to do some love before some munchies for a minute? I'm just impressed she can get it like that soaked. Daisy's on Mom. Like, she just must sit there with dedication for a while. I should look back on the camera and just like scoop, 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 scoop. Like, that's an investment of time. That's wild. Ringo's being a crybaby tonight, and I don't know why. You already went out to poop. You already went out to poop. Hello, Miss Mima. Hello. Hello. Just love for a minute. And then we'll do drops, and then we'll do snacks. Yes. Oh, you're such a good girl. Just like, I don't know about you. You look different, but you smell the same. What's going on here, Chica? Hi. Oh, Daisy's a jelly bean. Daisy's a jelly bean. Daisy's a jelly bean. Your tail is so big. Daisy's gonna be huge. I think she's gonna be big like marbles. I think you're gonna be a scrawny little dainty girl like your mom, Nibbler. And Stripes, wherever you are, you're just gonna be trouble. Stripes is taking a nap. Hi, Days. Stripes is a nap mode. She's been sleeping this whole time. Are you okay, Stripes? Bouncing around, bouncing around, bouncing. Hi, are you okay? Well, I'm checking on your sister, Derp. Are you okay? Is it CB? Is it CB? Wow, okay. They're like fully trained stream cats already. My bullshit doesn't even wake them up anymore. Alrighty then. I feel special. Mom, let's get you some more. You're so cute. Some more kibblies. And then we'll get our wet food. And then we'll play spin the bottle. That was so much fun. I have to be careful kissing you guys, though. I have lipstick on. Alright, Club Colt. We don't have Kool-Aid, but we have kibble. Kibbles and bits. Kibbles and bits. Hi, Mama. Mama, mama. Mama, mama. Mama, mama. You are so silly. Bouncy, bouncy. Bouncy, 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 bouncy. Fun, 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 fun. The wonderful thing about Tigers is I'm the only... That's my hat. I had a feeling we were going to do that. I'm the only one. I'm not wearing this hat in here anymore. Daisy just went boop and bopped it on over. You go, girlfriend. I wish this had an adjuster, like a bra strap on it. For like a year now, I've been meaning to make it shorter, and instead it just falls. It just falls. And that's okay. It's a constant reminder that I wish it had adjuster things. How you doing, sis? Oh, drinkies. They're at the watering hole. Stripes, why so sleepy? Why? I'm a helicopter mom. And look at me funny with one eye. And I think something's wrong. Okay, she's up. Big stretch. Big stretch. The tiger tail was hanging off the side of the dresser, and Stripes tried to climb onto it, and it was an adventure. So we moved the dresser over a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Hello, wild girls. Let's make your little plate. Oh, not a mess, Siri, not a plate. Hi, Tiny. Who's being the tiny on my foot? Stripes. Stripes kind of loves me today. Stripes hasn't loved me for a couple days. Like, she wasn't mad at me. She was just indifferent. Oh, they're queuing up. Queuing up for moosh moosh. Queuing up for moosh moosh. Are you gonna try and climb up? How's that gonna... I don't know how stable this is. It's like Halloween costume material. I don't know if that's gonna work, girlfriend. It's a fun toy. Oh, they get so excited. They're little food gremlins. I was eating a granola bar in with them earlier, and they was trying to steal it. Like, you can't have this. That's illegal. It has chocolate. Babies! Food! And they all move in. Alright, let's do some drops and treats, mamas. Let's do a squeezy tube tonight. Squeezy! Hungry babies. Don't you have a plate of your own right here? There you go. 3 plates for 3 kitties. 3. Hello, mama. Hello, mama. Hello. It's good. It's yummy. It's yummy. It's yummy, 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 yummy. It tastes like bribery. It tastes like Pavlovian something or another. It tastes like exposure therapy. Eyes. Good girl. Hold on, this one's always awkward to do. I'm sorry. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. We did good. We did it. We did drops. I'm so proud of you. Oops. Oh, get it. Get it. I dropped a bunch. No, Mom. I was giving her one earlier and I dropped some on Stripes and she wouldn't lick it off. I had to clean it off of her. You're right in line to get food dropped on you again. Oh my goodness. They're getting so tall they can like try and steal food out of her mouth. It's insane. I think Nibbler might end up about her size, but I think Stripes and Daisy will be bigger. They'll be more average size. Hi, babies. Hi, babies. Yummy, yummy. Okay, we're all taken care of now. Do you guys want to play some Spin the Bottle? Can we play some Spin the Bottle? Mom, you didn't play earlier. What do you think? Hi. Let's spin the bottle. No, we gotta all sit in a circle. You're very unsure. That's okay. Hi, Daisy. Okay, spin the bottle. Who gets a smooch? Oh, Daisy gets a smooch. Mwah. Mom's like, I'm out of here. Who gets a smooch? They're so focused on it. I cannot believe this. Mom, that would have been for you. You get a long distance smoochie. This is making my life. I know, it's the cutest thing I ever saw. Oh, I get a kiss now. Okay, I love myself. I love me so. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Oh, Daisy, do you really want a kiss? Okay. Mwah. I never played Spin the Bottle when I was younger, so. Stripes. Mwah. And technically Nibbler, too. You guys twinned it up. Thank you. Ready? Who'll go next? Daisy is so funny with it. Who'll go next? Okay, we gotta, like, turn the game around here. Oh. Daisy. Daisy. Oh, Daisy. Mwah. I feel like I annoy them, especially these two, a lot when I handle them, versus like giving them fun times. And I feel like this is a good in between medium. Daisy, the bottle just loves you. Oh my goodness. Mwah. Let it go. Where's it going? Where's it going? Where? Who is it gonna land on? It's like traveling. Stripes. Mwah. Like, they're kittens. They're gonna have to get used to being picked up at random. Daisy has a hidden magnet. She's using her paws as dowsing rods, pulling it towards her. Mama, I love you. That one's for you. You left the game, but it still landed on you. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Daisy's like, wait, the better odds are over here now. Oh man, Nibbler, you're not winning a lot. How? I love you. Oh, Daisy, you're a cheater. You're a cheater. And I love you for it, but you're a cheater, pumpkin eater. No, look out. Or do you want to play with it? You want to spin it? Okay, you spin it. You gotta go kiss mommy now. You gotta go kiss mommy. She's like, no. Ready? Oh, it's bonking the blanket. Come on, land on Nibbler. Let me give Nibbler some kisses. A Daisy. Okay, I love me. I'm wonderful. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's get some Nibbler. 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 I should be letting you guys place bets on this. No, Nibbler? Stripes? Stripes? Stripes! Nibbler, you get a bonus kiss. There you go. There you go. It's like they know what we're doing. Spent like 20 minutes doing this earlier. Why are you pushing it? Oh, Daisy. Okay, you win. You win. Mwah. Daisy is a winner. I know. Isn't it ridiculous? Like, they know. I'm surprised they don't chase it more. Oh. Stripe says no more kiss for me. Mommy. Miss Void. Miss Void. Oh, did you want to spin it? Okay, you spin it. I mean, I thought it was impressive that Voya knew tricks. Alright, you gotta kiss Daisy now. Oh, you gotta kiss Nibbler. I thought it was impressive that Voya knew tricks, but this is next level. I obviously don't think they actually understand what they're doing, but it's pretty cool that it looks like they do. What do you think? Now you want to play with the bottle. Okay, you gotta kiss Daisy. You owe her 2 kisses. Mwah. Mwah. Spin it. Spin it around. Spin it around. Oh, you gotta kiss me now. Okay. Thank you. She's like, what the fuck? Are you done? Are you over it? You're all lined up for something now. I don't know what. Do you want to try Nibbler? You just boop. Boop.
She's like, I don't know about that one. I don't know. It's a little scary. It's bigger than I am. What are you after in there? That's a couch. That's a couch. You're silly. Of all the toys that you have, the bottle, huh? You okay? You just burped again. Okay, now you gotta kiss me. It landed on me. Thank you. Nibbler, I feel like you've gotten an excess of a lack of kisses. I love you. I love you. They are all smooched out now. Oh, Daisy is maybe never smooched out, though. Maybe. Oh, people are shooting off fireworks. Is today important? I don't think there's a holiday. Where are there fire? I don't know. I feel like when fireworks are randomly blown off like that. Hey, baby girl. Someone's like cleaning out their garage and they just find them. You're like, oh yeah, I had these. Let's blow them off for no reason. All right, my darlings. My darlings. My darlings. My baby girls. Are you all loved out? You got your water, you got your food, you got your wet munchies. He's good. He's good. I'm gonna put their rest of their can in the fridge for later. Hey, you fuck that chair up, Daisy. You do that. You do that. And then let's play some Lego Bitmans and see how far/stuck we're gonna get. I love how Lego is the new torture night. Like, how do children figure this out? Chauncey, yes, I know. You heard the fireworks too. Chauncey is displeased. Oh no, well, it's not far enough to see him through the door. Chauncey is displeased. So there's fireworks, Mom. Danger. Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. 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 Feel food coming on from the pizza. Pizza is good for that. Get the Z's if you need them. Get the Z's if you need them. Take them while you can get them, honestly. This time of year is too busy. Too busy. Hello, little kid. What are you doing? Rolling around in the hallway like a goober? Okay. You look like you're doing something weird. You're a cat, so fair. Hello! Hello! Nibbler and Daisy in the doorway. How are we doing tonight, girlfriends? How are we doing? How are we doing? Alright, come here. Can't be hugging all the door space. And go for a ride. Go for a ride. Whee! And look. Stripes is so funny. She'll take this toy and carry it around in her mouth everywhere, like a dog happy with a bone. Like the dogs in the backyard. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. Mom, are you chasing my toes? Are you? Do, 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 do. Or are you just asking for pets? She does that sometimes, and I don't know if she's saying, like, don't walk away, or pet me, or she just doesn't know how to play, and she doesn't know what she's doing. Hi. You gave me a toe tap. What's up? What's up? I love you. You want your this? Oh, I didn't mean for it to go that far, but okay. Get it, Daisy. I love you, mamas. I love you. I love you, Stripies. I love you. I cannot believe they still fit on top of here. Like, it fit, but Still. Daisy can't. But Nibbler and Stripe still can. Tiny girls. Tiny girls. They're so cute and sweet. I love you, babies. I love you, mummies. I love you, kittens. I love you, little beasties. Little beasties. Little beasties. Alright. Let's tell Chauncey that the world is not going to fall apart. Heat up some coffee and play some games. Some games. Chauncey, your reassurance has arrived. It's okay. It's just stupid people. It's okay. It's okay. There's only like 5 or 6 of them. It scared them. And they were certainly loud. Oh, lock this. Hee hee. What are you doing, Boya? I'm just assuming it's Boya. What are you doing? I heard something. I heard something. Oh no, Boya's being a good little boy on the bed. But Zeke looks like he's been causing trouble. Do, 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 do. Little troublemakers. Do, do, do. Do, do, do. Alright, let's heat up some coffee. Boys are in charge. The triplets. The triplets are in charge. I didn't have to wait any longer. That's a baby's turn. Hey, Buckeye. Don't do it. Oh, don't do it. Thank you, good girl. Hang on this. Okay. Forgot that I had these. I'm gonna see if the boys like them. They're like thick, like big, like to chew on. They're like dog bones almost. It's weird.
There we go. My hat is all over the place. Aha. And beat it to breaking by just removing it. Smarter, not harder. Plug this back in. Aha. No, not on charger. Thank you. Oh boy, a big yawn. Big yawn. Ziggy, you're so cute. You're so handsome and dignified. Just doodling over here. Your head feels hot. Why? You know, animals really aren't like people to where like we can just touch their forehead and like feel fever or whatever, but I don't know. Humans feel anxious when their heads are hot. It should mean something, whether it does or doesn't. I feel like I let them try this before. It looks like rabbit treats. I know you've never tried this. I was just gonna say that. You wanna try it? Here's for Voya. Here's for Ziki. Gunther, do you wanna try one? Oh wait, you need soft treats. Try it, see how you feel about it. Here, you gotta gnaw on it. It's a chewy. Voya's understanding the assignment. You're figuring it out. Good job, Bean. Good job, Ziki. Gunther, you're trying. Bloop. All the crunchies. Who does grump? No one is by anyone. Oh. Voya's tail is touching Ziki. That was apparently offensive. Are you coping? How are you doing with this, Gunther? Can I see? Oh, you are gumming it down. Okay. I think that's okay for Gunther to have. I think. I guess I didn't need to pay attention to this before. It's just an inja biddy. Batman! Wrong device. Get the kitten cam going. Beyond Gotham. Oh, that was rude. Very rude. Connect 4. What is this hat doing? How did I have it a million years ago? Yay? Yay so? I accept it. Oh, I meant to check if my other camera, or not the camera, the power bank was done charging. The other camera is almost dead. That one's not plugged in. This one got moved over. Go scamooch it. So I need to be able to see what they're doing. Little wildlings. Mr. Boyapne? Mr. Gunther? You still working on that treat? Okay. It's very cute and silly. It's the very cute and silly Mr. Gunther. Even up on the chair. Oh, it's the wrong connection. You're so cute. Little eepy beans. They're so adorable. What is this hat doing? I think it's because one of these will clip and one of these won't. It's going awkward style. Oh, what a weird but cool way for something to close. Cereal boxes should close like that instead of how they do. Never mind, that's actually not very efficient. There was an attempt. Boy, are you gonna help? You gonna help? I believe in you. You can do it. Where did we leave off? Whereabouts? 0.2%. Not even a 1% of progress. 0.2%. You're gonna bop into that. You're silly. I can't see anything, Boya. Okay. Do you wanna come here? Zeke, do you want a lap? Boya, do you want a lap? Who wants a lap? I got a lap for you.
Is it just me, or does
I
Killer
can't
Croc
see
seem a
what's
little bigger than
going on, Boya.
The they are, the harder they fall.
Thanks. Yeah, that old cliche makes me feel so much.
You're in the way. I can't see the screen. You're in the way, son. You're taking over. Actually, you need your nails done. Come here. Voya muted me. I thought my microphone disconnected itself, but at some point Voya muted me and I didn't know that. My bad. He was just up here with me a little bit ago. Welcome, Get Some. How you doing tonight? That's okay. I've had nothing nice to say about my gaming skills. You muted me! That was at least like 5 minutes ago. Oops. It was just quiet time, that's all. Hey, congratulations. Cheers. Cheers to the dubs. Oh, I thank you. We are parlay tonight. They are so cute and tiny. They're so cute and tiny. I actually got a thing when I went to do my free dollar on steak today that was like, you need to re-verify your identity. And I'm Harley. I'm not going to look like me. I don't know how good those things are. I don't know. I don't wear makeup for any of like the photo scan whatever things when you have to verify your identity for things. So I match my ID and I don't think this will match my ID. I have to wait till tomorrow to do it. It popped up and I was ready to go and I'm like, dang, I don't look like me. They're so cute. We were playing Spin the Bottle earlier. They like playing Spin the Bottle. They sit in a circle and I spin it, wait for it to land on them. And it's very cute. Actually, while I have this paused, I need a tutorial. Like I need a tutorial. What am I doing here? Lego Batman 3 Killer Croc. How? Walk through. Walk through. Walk through. Can we see cat treats? Like all the treats that I have in here? I have treats in front of me on my desk. I brought these out for them. Hey, thank you so much. Thank you for the gifted. You wonderful human being. Thank you, Oso Mucho. Oh, jeez. Do you want to choose which ones? There's a lot to choose from. Thank you for supporting the Stream the Dreams project, and thank you for being part of No Nuts November. Woo! 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 You boys want some treats? You want some snackies? You want some snackies? Thank you so much. Oh, I have like 1,000 counts on my screen right now. This is ridiculous. Do do do. I think there's floof in my mouse. It keeps working up on me. Boya, do you know what time it is? Do you know what time it is? Do you know what time it is? Hey, we're at our tub stream goal. Thank you, baby, so much. We can't do it tomorrow, but maybe Sunday. Tomorrow I need to work on my car. I might garage stream. I don't know. Depends on what kind of mood I'm in and how much I feel like looking like a human being. But Sunday, perhaps. No, not the fun car, though. My daily. I have either a caliper locked up or a wheel bearing fucking up. You gotta put it up on the lift to see. We'll figure it out. We can do it. Oh, these are fun. I forgot I had these, but they're almost done for. It's freeze-dried chicken. Yeah. I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm wasting my time if like I'm doing an activity that I feel like I would enjoy watching on stream. Zeki's so talkative. But then I might also be in a mood too. I don't know. This is the first time I've worked on this car and I'm not looking forward to it. I think all I've done in this car is change a battery, then get a flat tire and take it to Firestone. Voya, you hacked the system here. Say thank you, Zeke. He doesn't know how to like take it from my hand. He only knows how to eat it off the floor like Gunther. These are honestly probably human grade. Ingredient, chicken breast. Probably, but I don't eat meat, so I won't be testing that. Do you not like these? They're too good for Zeke. Gunther like. You're not eating them. You didn't finish your other treat either. Do you not like those? Okay, then let Voya have them. I'll get ones that you like, I guess. It's been a house cat for a month. He's already spoiled. I'm getting different ones for you. Here, these are fun. We haven't opened these yet. I opened way too many treats at one time. They're calming. Calming shoes. I think I remember getting these for Tank. But they're like solid and Tank needs soft treats. Calming shoes. It has chamomile powder and it has melatonin in it. Is that safe? I don't know why it wouldn't be. I thought it would have like CBD in it. Has theanine, L-tryptophan, so it's turkey, or from turkey. Chamomile powder, that's safe. Is melatonin safe for cats? Ooh, it smells like a treat. It may not look like it, but it smells like it. Is this a thing? Is melatonin cat safe? Melatonin is safe for cats when used appropriately and under veterinary guidance. However, it's a I don't know if I'm comfortable giving this. I want to ask the vet first. It seems too questionable to me. Here, you like these. Let's go for some chicken and turkey, because just plain chicken is too much. No. No. We gotta be wild. It's actually a common theme with a lot of, like, animal influencers, though. Like, keep an eye on the accounts that you follow. If their eyes are, like, always dilated and pupilly, a lot of people give, like, their cats gabapentin or ACE. So they'll be chill and performative on camera. Do you want those? You gotta let Zeke have. It's hims. It's hims. There's only about 1,000 cats here. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Thank you again so much. We appreciate yous. I can't believe you muted me. I'm offended. It's rude. You hurt my feelings. You hurt my feelings. That wasn't very nice. Are you eating those, Zeke? Aw, yay, he likes those. I can't believe you turned... Oh! God, Foya. I forgot how big you are sometimes, and he has, like, torque. It's a little pickup truck, kitty. You got torque. No, you had treats. You had treats. Hi. Not only is his back right leg kind of weird, his front left, right? Yes, I don't know my left and my right, is wonky sometimes. I feel so bad. The vet looked at it while he was under for his teeth. Everything seemed a-okay. So probably just give him time to work it out, like, from being confined to open space. Poor kid. Give me a written bitty. Did that wall plug somewhere, something. This. Oh, we need Lego pieces to put into the machine. Okay, that kind of makes sense. Use Batman's sensor suit on the left or right side. This will unlock a red button to jump on. When you jump on the button, a hatch will open and it will spit out Lego blocks. Use Robin's biohazard suit to vacuum these blocks. Oh my god. Why is this a 1,000-step process? That's so creative and cool. If I was watching it, not playing it. Oh, I suppose we shouldn't do that mid-battle. Why can't Robin just jump on it? Sorry, Batman. Destroyed him. Oh, I guess it doesn't spawn more then. Can Batman just handle all the trouble on the sidelines? Maybe, maybe not. Oh, it doesn't work if Robin's up there. That's not cool. Oh, there's no mountain in his backpack. Adoy. It's all making sense now. Goofy goobers. Get out of here. Sorry, Batman. Now the same thing on the other side. Should spit out Legos. Ew. Why are you being so weird about it? You think that's enough now? Plug it in, plug it in. Don't throw that, that's not nice. Oh, we have a transformer. What's that? What do we do with this now? Oh. Got him. Uh-oh. Save me, Batman. Batarang. And there he go. We didn't get him, but we at least hurt his feelings. I don't know if it was better or worse. Oh, there's the guy we need to save Adam West. Pursuers in the sewers. Complete. Okay. I like the counter there. It reminds me of old Spyro. We had pretty good completion. That's surprising. He's still in peril. Don't remind me of that. Oh no. Was that how many total characters we can unlock? Okay. There's a lot going on up there. Goodness golly.
It's not going to happen. We must all work together. Hopefully Green Lantern will show up so I can use my ring.
It is useless to resist Brainiac.
Oh boy. Oh yeah, what's happening? It's dutifully sitting on the side of the desk. I gotta put a bed up here for you. I just gotta figure out which one I want to put up. I want to put the one Zeke has. You do have something on the side of your face. But I want to put one with like a grip on the bottom of it so it doesn't slide over. Are you scratching yourself open like Tank does?
So, Cyborg, this slide-waste teleport thing is safe?
Totes. It'll take you to the watchtower in a blink of an eye. Why? You scared?
No, but I could just use my ring and fly up to the watchtower.
If you don't get in, I'm gonna tell everyone Green Lantern is yellow.
What about over here?
Welcome, Green Lantern of Sector 2814. Did you have a nice trip?
Okay, we'll mess with it more later.
Hunter, no problem. Although, I prefer to fly.
I thought I felt something weird on his cheek the other day. Then I felt it and I couldn't find the feeling again later. And I was like, oh, maybe I was just being insane. So that's been known to happen. But
Would you care for something?
he is a little scritched up over there.
If you could bring it down here, that would be great.
What happened? I don't think that's something Zeke or Gunther did. I think he did it.
Upstairs to eat in comfortably. Down here would be great, thanks.
I guess like tumors, whether they're benign or cancerous, are pretty common with FIB. Not like common, but more likely to occur in FIB positive cats. Like around the facial area, like where Tank had his removed, which I found interesting to learn. Doesn't of course make me horrendously paranoid or anything. Fancy cape. Oh. I guess we do things now, huh? Outfit's so cute. Why did they leave his head so awkward? Wait, weird puzzle thing again? Oh, jeez. No, that's not what we're doing here. That's, I'm guessing, like the start button. Do you need to not be invisible? Nope. Oh, I can be Alfred too? Go back to Batman. That one needs to go sideways. That's not even glowy. Did I accidentally move that the right way? Without even like realizing it? That's cool. And then we press the button and hope that it works. Did it do anything? Yes! Schnifty! Looks like someone drew those power lines in MS Paint. Not judging it, just noticing. Just noticing. A power suit! Okay. Cool. Fancy man. Does Alfred need to take us this way? Oh, sorry, Alfred. I did not mean to end you. My bad. What are you doing here, Broseph? do something else with that? Should we really be blowing stuff up in the back cave? I don't know. Okay. Is Alfred in like shield mode? That's cute. Okay, without knocking you over. Where do we need to go here? Oh, what a badass, Alfred. Does the top part mean we need to be Robin? No, it just swaps. Yeah, man, this is your house. You just figure this out for us. Is there a list for the whole whatchamawatchit? This walkthrough is relatively decent, but I think there's only for level 1 and level 2. This one's called Breaking Bats. Like Breaking Bad. Yo ho, Harley! That's parlay to you, sir. Welcome, Cyrodenics. I hope the weekend is being kind to you. Okay. Batman is being mind controlled, and it's up to Robin and Alfred to defeat Batman without hurting him. The boss in this level is therefore Batman himself. Oh shit. That's like a lot of deep thinking for children. It's parlay, it's the pirate's code. With more of a set of guidelines. The main goal is to get Batman, Alfred, and... What? I think that's too far forward. Batman should be on a ledge. He's not on a ledge. We're just stuck in the Batcave. Oh no. I don't know how to cancel an attack. Mother of pearl. I feel like Alfred needs to take us over, but I don't know how. Back to the Google board. Oh, this is Batcave battle, JK. The Batcave, the observatory. Lure Batman into destroying the silver base of the computer, revealing Lego pieces, build them into a pulsar. What? Huh? Oh, that's the significance of the suit that we just got. I thought it would just be good for battle. We have to destroy all of these things. And then, oh, sorry, Alfred. Build mode? Oh, I think I just set a charge. Oh my goodness. The puzzle is solved. Because that opened this up for us. And that's how we got the power suit. And then I think I just need to build with these. This game is ogres and onions. It has layers. I know Bruce is big on security and all, but like, this feels like a bit much. Does Alfred need to activate this? Build them into a pole socket, then throw your pole into it and swing up. Like Robin's attack thing? Excuse me. It was such a beautiful day today. But it borked up my sinuses. How was... He needs his regular suit. Do it. If I need to vault, I need space for that. No. I like Batman's. You push the green side? Oh. Well, that's fancy. Oh my goodness. A cozy rainy fall day. That's stinky about the power though. I feel for you. That's irritating. I'm personally offended and feel personally victimized when the power goes out. I take it very personally. Is that gonna hurt me? No, we live here. We live here. Come on now. Take it out, Alfred. Or not. Dang, that's cool though. No? You just have to magically sneak by it? I don't think that's true. I think that's lies. I think that's big lies. You're feeling very targeted as a result, that's for sure. Boo. It's not personal, even if it feels personal. It's very annoying, though. I'm proud of you, though. If it were me, I would be crying right now, probably. Rumble tumble. This will clear the rubble on the stairs.
I am the Nite.
I don't think this is where I am. What? You're in control of Batman and Robin. Follow the ghost heads to the right and scan to reveal a grapple point. That's... I don't think I'm in the right place somehow. Okay, hub interlude. You're in control of Batman and Robin. Follow the ghost. That's what we did. Pick it up as Batman to receive the demolition suit. Use to destroy the silver objects, revealing a suit token. Oh, did I leave it back there? That was... Robin was supposed to get a new suit over there. Oopsies. Did Alfred just screech? Like, did I... Oops. Switch souls with him through his butt or something? Is there a difficulty? Okay. Use it to lower a lift on the right. Walk into it. Begin the next level. Maybe that's referring to running through the level a second time? I don't know. I might have been crying earlier. It was so dark it was hard to tell, but those sobs were coming from somewhere. It was the ghost. The ghost did it. No. I'll hand deliver Daisy right now. No tears. Can never have a bad day with Daisy there. She's so cute and fluffy. Lure Batman to destroying the silver base of the computer, revealing Lego pieces. We did that. Build them into a pole socket, then throw your pole into it and swing up. Giggity. This will clear the rubble on the stairs. Walk through the fire and then destroy the red object to reveal Lego pieces. There's no fire! There's no techno suit. That's not anything that's here. Hello, Voya. What are you doing, my son? No, you already had a lot of treats today. You had a lot of treats. I had a lot of treats. You're gonna put those away. I opened up a new bag of treats a little bit ago, but then they're calming. But I was looking at the ingredients and I expected them to have CBD. And they have melatonin, which is cat safe, I guess. But I don't want to try something new and crazy tonight. I don't know about that. It does look suspicious, but the laser is gonna get me. Oh, I guess we can just doodle on through. JK. Wait, was Alfred supposed to do that? I don't know if I'm the right person for the job here. Does that just allow everyone through? Woo! No, don't go back. Dinky dink. Do things. Alfred, your turn. No? The feeling is mutual. Is that like a map? This does not compute. Does not compute. It's gonna spray me. It's gonna spray me. It's gonna spray me. I need to be someone else for this, though. Like, that much makes sense. Is it telling me how to rearrange different things? Of the what of the where? I do like this game, but this is like the weirdest thing I've ever encountered in my life. Like, I'm pretty clueless, but I've never been this clueless. Boom! That's probably not good. That's okay. Boom! Boom. No more boom. It looks like a timing minigame. It looks like something. What? I don't know. It looks like hieroglyphics to me. This is not gonna compute to my brain. I know I just muted me, but please you don't mute me again. Let's try being Batman. It's his cave. The Cave of Wonders. Thank you. You're a very good boy. You're a very good boy. You're a very good boy. Yeah, because I definitely mute and unmute my mic by giving it a boop. What do you mean? This is brutal. it's... Wait. Oh, it closes when it turns red. What do you want me to manipulate for you to function? Why do I keep thinking I can sneak in there? I don't think that's ever gonna work. It was a thought. It was an attempt. Who did I come over here as? Batman? So we probably have to switch to someone else. Be Alfred because he's new here? Do. He's so fancy. Do we do this bottom biddy? Does that mean Robin's supposed to be there? He doesn't, it's showing him with a suit. He doesn't have the suit. Where's the suit? The suit was supposed to be redeemable. I think, I don't know. Screaming. I don't think it glitched. I'm doing something wrong. I don't know. I can, and it's showing that there's a picture of Robin in a different suit, the techno suit or whatever it is. And I thought it said something about grabbing it over here. Is the suit above, like in a cage? Shows over his head like, I don't have that. But we don't have it. Where is it? Oh, I thought that meant something up in the corner. No. Hablarg. That doesn't do anything. Is the suit up the... So how do we get up there? You fork and nutter butter. Can Batman, like, fly up there? Grappling hook. Nope, nope, nope. No, is there something for him to latch onto there from down here? Can we go back over there? Is that a thing? That should be a thing. It looks like a thing. This game is going to break me. Did I finish pushing the green spinny thingy around? I think I pushed it all the way. We pushed it before, Robin. I don't think it pushes anymore. Oops. Nope, you're not throwing that. It's already all the way. I'm missing something somewhere. I just don't know what I'm missing. It's lovely. See you let me up. Is there anything for me to hit? No! I don't want to look at a YouTube tutorial, but I think we're gonna have to look at a YouTube tutorial. It does not compute. It does not. Holy shit, I have a lot of shit open. Ba-dum-bum-bum. Cat stacking. Go the fuck to sleep. Punch the spinning bat symbol for a clue, maybe? Where's there a spinning bat symbol? Oh, I need a visual. Oh, does the little switch indicator give us a clue? That would be neat. I can't see what's on this part of the screen. Six hours and 36 minutes of playtime. So 12. Oh, why did that get scooted over my browser? There.
We must get to the bat.
That's too far. Oh, that's so close. Okay, we're somewhere there. We're somewhere there. Scoot this around here. They playing on Xbox? Oh my god, I'm tired. This says Gamer Max channel. I thought it said Gooner Max channel. Oh, what? Bitch! Batman just punched it? You need a super suit. Where is my super suit? Said it a bunch of times and see if that changes anything. Wait, that's not correct. That's not correct. I'm missing something here. Batman with the lever and the green suit. That should have popped out then. The Batman power suit. Okay, that was for that one. We did that. I find it interesting that on most controllers, even if there's different titles of what the button is, the layout is mostly the same. Except for in Doom 3. Everything for X in Doom 3 is a triangle on the Switch, I believe. Which is weird as fuck. I appreciate that they're all relatively similar, though. But for some reason, an Xbox controller just does not feel right in my hands. None of them ever have. It's up to the developers. Well, fuck them. That didn't come up. Oh, maybe that was his hint from the thing.
Well, look who came back for another hint.
What is he trying to do here? Batman got stuck? I gotta do all this? The fuck? It's not that simple, is it really? I'm gonna scream. So what? Needs the sensor suit? And then how did we activate that? Oh, that's just invisible. Oh! This technosuit token can only be collected by Robin. Okay, and how do we get him in here then? That's the power source, so I think we can probably beat that up with the super suit and then shut it off, maybe? Yeah! Woot woot! Is that the super suit? Where is my super suit? Woo! Turns out the hint was the answer all along, right? That was a weird one. Oh, it auto-saved. There's a goofy little face in the corner. Now we go up to that guy. Have blurg. Oh, okay. He does the puzzle for me, I think. Mostly. It looks like we're okay. I hope. Unless I'm supposed to be pressing something. Oh. I am. Damn it. What? What are you asking me to do? You don't make sense. This is not tic-tac-toe. That's not right. No, he's not doing it for me. I was being silly. This does not compute. This week has had too many days of 3 hours of sleep. Too many. Too many. Oh, me. I know this one. I know this one. That was such a cute little Batman. The red needs to be in the middle, but red means dead. Personally, I think Batman should just solve this for us. It's his Batcave. I mean, technically, Alfred should be privy to this too. In case of emergency, Robin should be able to just auto-do it. Red, blue, green. Red, blue, green. Oh, no, no, go back in. They really beefed up security. Oh my god. Is that Elsa's castle or something?
Some kind of spaceship. Its composition suggests it came from outside.
You're just flying through the sky.
Maybe we should contact Martian Manhunter to check it out from the watchtower.
Yeah. Go contact him and let Justice League communicate.
Either side does small blinking lights show you what color it should be. I will have to remember that for the next one.
How wonderful.
They made Alfred's head so weird by not, like, putting a bald cap or something on him. That's bothering me so much.
You change your mind about my idea?
Oh, jeez. Oh, no, wait. Batman is evil now? That's what they're discussing? Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh, no. He's doing a temper tantrum. Matrix squids.
I don't know, Alfred. Watch out.
He's blowing everything up now. Well, that's a really big tantrum. That's not good.
And destroy the entire Batcave.
Not if we stop him first, Alfred. Let's see if we can get his attention. No use being stuck down here. Maybe we can get closer to him somehow.
You want me to do what with what, sir? Launch pad. Just kidding. Would be cool though. Explodies. Probably should not stand right next to them. Oh, so you can like get that far but not like up. That looks like our calendar. I made space. I don't know what that accomplished. To get up there, what are you on about here, dear? You need to build something or like just swoop up to this guy? That looks important. Has a Robin indicator, so what do we do with you? Aha! Okay. Oh, that's what they meant about swingy bar. Okay. Now he's gonna blow us all up. Bat power! Why wouldn't Robin have a bunch of Robins come in though? Why did he have bat power? Oh, his tantrum continues over here. Is Adam West stuck again? Poor Alfred indeed. He has to clean all of this up. So you're over here now, dear? That was a big pile of meat. The dogs would have enjoyed that. They would have enjoyed that. Oh, some Doom stuff. Cool. Alfred will automatically use his tray to shield himself from Lego flames. This allows him to cross Lego fire unharmed. Alfred is fireproof? That's cool. Adam West is eternally stuck. Adam West will now be known as Stepbro from henceforth. Henceforth, he shall be known as Stepbro. Alfred and them superpowers. I don't think I can do anything with that. I am but a mere mortal. Okay, Batman, chill. Sheesh. Oh! Don't go that far. You don't want to jump onto one of those? Oh, it's bouncing. So build? Can Alfred build? Yeah. Alfred is an expert constructor. Don't fall over. Don't fall over. Don't. Don't do it. Feel like everything's built. No more pieces are really bouncing. Robin has to do that, but there's fire on. How do we turn the fire off? Uh-oh. Oh. Maybe that? Yeah! We made sprinklers. I am proud. I had a strange inkling. Oh, it's raining gems. That there's something else to build. And there's still pieces just booping around over here. I feel like there's probably something else over there too. I don't know. We'll figure it out as we go. He needs his fancy little techno suit. His boots and cat suit. Just gave us a platform. Still have a stick in here. Oh, heck yeah. Whoa, we have a pulley thingy. That's neat. Oh, it stopped blowing up the Batcave, Batman. Jeez. Oh, shit. Oh. I mean, he got blown up, but he seems okay with it. Batman, where are you now? He's all the way up there. Why is there a solar system in the Batcave? I feel like someone was inspired by Lara Croft, by some Tomb Raider for this level. I can feel it. I can see it. Bouncy pieces. Whoa. I thought I was building. I didn't realize I have a tiny surfer me. I don't know what that does or what that means. I think it's the first movie I feel like they're referencing, though. All the vaulting around in the Croft Cave. I don't think there was really a Croft Cave. Like, she had her little office, but it was mostly just the house. Where would that scene be? It was towards the end. Oh no, the quote was towards the beginning. Oh no, it was over here. It was in one of the... Oh, I don't have it up on screen. Girl is tired. It was one of the vaults or caves that they were in. The Triangle Biddy.
Not quite what you hoped for, Mr. Powell.
They had to climb through the solar system pieces to get it all together. View of it. I guess the whole scene is kind of like the suit. I thought I saw it might have been from the Daisy Ridley one. Really just wrote 2015, so 2025. Oh, there's a TV series in development. More Tomb Raider on Lara. Wait, that was this year. That already happened. Oh my goodness. They're gonna make a TV series though? That must be what I found it from. Tomb Raider 2? Is that a fan trailer? With Alicia Vikander. Wait, is that who played Lara? I thought Daisy Ridley did, or she was just considered for it. It was from the first one, I'm pretty sure. It's well done. It's cool. That one's my favorite. Oh, that was Bitman's. Okay, what is going on? Maybe that's the little clip that I saw. Is this a fan trailer or is this real? Did this already come out? Was there like a whole Tomb Raider release without me knowing? Concept.
My name now.
Fan made. Yeah. Fuck you and your bullshit. Series though. This might have been the clippy that I saw.
But you could pick up where he left off. Just think what you can do for the world.
Oh, that is the same chick.
To find
Must have been a leaked scene. It was her going into either like Croft Manor or one of the businesses.
The answers are buried deep in its ruins.
Oh, this one's a concept and fan. Maybe not? Oh, these fan trailers are getting sneaky. They're gonna come out with an anime for Tomb Raider, though.
What is it you're chasing?
That's not clickbait. I did done get clickbaited. They got me. They got me too good. It's this brand new world of age of AI. It's too good. It blends together. It's not just obvious other clips from other things smooshed together the best they can.
Your demons will always
Okay, then it was Alicia Vikander, not Daisy Ridley.
this craft.
I think she was considered for it, though. Really looked like there was going to be a second one. The anime looks good, though.
history doesn't always tell us the whole truth.
It looks very similar to how she's designed in the comics. Are my comics up here?
What it's all about.
Or did I put them away somewhere nice? I might have put them away somewhere nice.
I'm looking for something connected to my past. Something important. Why is everything so dramatic with you? I ask myself that all the time.
Oh, where are my comics?
We need a new plan.
Run!
Might be over there. Or I might have put them in the box with my nephew's comics. I have 2 huge boxes of comics that are in the kitten's room that are my nephew's.
Sometimes I swear you have a death wish.
Maybe you do.
I think we got off on the wrong foot, Miss Croft.
They designed her so similarly.
Trying to kill me.
It's nice.
Something like that.
That would be magic. MGM lost the film rights, so it got delayed long enough that it probably won't happen. Sheesh! That's rude.
You're poisoned.
I'm a
They lost the rights. Where did they go? Someone needs to find them.
I brought this. You're gonna need.
It looks hype. Oh, it came out last month? It should be up already? I don't know if I have Netflix on my phone. It's probably offloaded. Yeah. They should check Lost and Found. They should. Where did my Lego thing go? Just in case. Just in case. Is it out? I don't know why that would be a lie. My profile icon on Netflix is BoJack Horseman. It always weirds me out when I'm reminded that Netflix has mobile games. Has anyone ever played any of them? Are they actually any fun? Any good? Tomb Raider Action Reloaded. Actually, I think on the front of the WWE one is some dude that, I mean, he is a wrestler, but I follow on Instagram because he does like weird things, but not in the way that I'm making it sound. Shiloh, I think his name is. Ziggy. Yeah. I think that's him. Looks like the same dude. I think so. I think so. He buys random things off of the dark web. And I don't know, just shows different like sites. It's very like weird and obscure. I don't know how to describe without going through like an hours long rabbit hole. Oh, I think I brought up his Twitch stream or YouTube once. Maybe a couple months ago with the dark web shoes. That really sucked me in for a while. That was creepy. Created an AI creature thing called the Beast, which is really neat. It's just sketch as fuck and I'm fascinated. Played Civilization 5 but not as a mobile game. I wonder what the difference would be and how it would change being a mobile game. It has to be so much more condensed. Wrestlers are just actors, that's true. But I don't know. I wasn't expecting to see a face that I recognized on the little thing of a game. Oh, I added it to my list, so at some point I knew it was there. It's there. I don't know. You set your profile icon, they only had like 8 different ones. I know, they've expanded to so many now. My dad's is the tiger. And I guess my nephew changed his to like the red crying guy. I don't know. I don't remember what theirs used to be. My dad's is the tiger though. I am BoJack Horseman. It's cute and silly. He's very cute and very silly. Reconnect me. Reconnect. Reconnect. We gotta save Bitman. Build more things. Oh, I was figuring out what that meant. What does that do for you, Robin? Can I switch to Alfred? Can Alfred build? Yeah, there you go, Alfred. Good boy. Oh, now maybe Robin? Probably Robin in the techno suit. No? Well, sheesh. Something with that? Is there more to build? I don't know about that one. Now we have a silly sit. What does he do? I'm perplexed by him. That's so weird. Call him off. Okay, that opens that. I don't know what you want me to do with this. Okay. I don't know how that worked. But it did. So that was cool. Oh no. Stop blowing things up. Batman. We didn't need to blow that up. Where are you going?
He's disappeared into that cave.
He's on the run! I'm stuck. I'm stuck. I'm stuck. Alfred has a praise king. I mean, why else would he be a butler? Unlocked. I don't know what that means. An illumination suit. Shine light, shine bright. Be a star. Okay. Adam West, you're just gonna have to chill. I don't know what to do with you right now. I'm sorry. Oh, that charges me up. That's cool. It's exciting. Only Alfred can walk through oh wait, we don't have to walk through fire. I'm sorry, Adam West. Hold on.
You were expecting Mr. Mixier's picnic?
Require power so what the fuck? Ridiculous. No, now it's dark again. Oh, but cutscene. Okay. Not the telescope. Those are expensive. I know, right? I would love to have a nice telescope just for funsies, but I am not investing monies into something like that just for funsies. That's crazy. They're very expensive. I'll inherit my dad's in like 30 years. 30 odd years. I can wait. Adam West is beyond saving.
Computer, disable the Batmobile. Oh, darn, too late.
Was I supposed to stop him? Oh, I mean, there's a checkpoint, so that's good.
Defense systems.
I just hope he remembers who he is. We've got to stop him.
I think I was supposed to, like, genuinely have stopped him. Does it matter if I'm bright? Why are you shooting rockets at me, Batman? That's not cool. That's not cool at all. City lights do suck. I completely missed out. I have been so exhausted this week. I just realized, scrolling a little bit today, you could see at different parts of this week, you could see the northern lights in Chicago, like over Lake Michigan. You go a little further out where there's not so much light pollution, which is really cool. And I did not go to see it. Did not know that was a thing. We need the Batmobile for that, I think it's indicating. Either like the Batmobile or a drone. I honestly do not know. I have no clue. Shine bright like an illumination suit doesn't have the same ring to it. No, it does not. Oh, save point. I guess? I don't know. I have to pee. Quick BRB. Excuse me. Blurp. Do that. Depending on the solar activity, you can see it even at lower latitudes. I don't know if we've ever been able to see it here before. I don't remember ever going to see it or hearing about it before. But the pictures I've seen are so pretty. I'm bummed I missed out on it. But that's okay. But I'm bummed. I used to have a really good, I like the Night Sky app. It was similar to that, but it was a different one. I don't remember what it was called, and it's not a thing anymore. Where was I going with that? Oh, but it would not only show you constellations and things, but give you like a notification update when there is a cool celestial event happening soon. And I relied on that too hard. And I don't take time to look those things up anymore. It seems so beautiful though. Don't need a new coffee. We got a few more minutes. I gotta go tinky Ziki. Ziki is in charge. Meow meow. Meow meow meow. Baby boy. Winning with this top. The arms keep falling because I need to adjust it, and it doesn't have an adjuster like a bra strap or a tank top. It just is what it is. So I need to like sew it and make it shorter. So I put it down, and then it got stuck on the dog gate, and it clotheslined me. There's no winning. It's like the light. There's no winning. Is Night Sky not a working app anymore? Either? I have it offloaded. There is an astrology app that I really like too that went out of the App Store, and I don't know why. It wasn't like a purchase thing, it just literally showed you the phases of the moon. My nephew actually showed me the Night Sky app. I didn't find it on my own. I'm not cool. Load. Install. 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 Keep your phone pretty bare bones these days. I need to go through my phone and delete things. Because there's... Whoa. The what? There's so much shit on here that I don't use anymore. For best results with ISS flyover and iridium flare notifications, we recommend setting Night Sky look... Oh, it's about location. Okay. I don't want to fork with settings right now. That's so cool. It hasn't changed too much. Is it showing you little meteors? Oh, that's cool. They changed the astrological biddies. Scorpio is more detailed. That's neat. Okay, I gotta stop. I'll stay on there forever. I get lost in that app. Like, not just like physically lost, but I get stuck in it. I get stuck, Bros. We need the Batmobile for that. I don't know how to get the Batmobile. That was a checkpoint. I think I just destroyed the checkpoint. Which is okay, but probably not ideal. I don't know what to do when it's sleepy girl hours. I'm 50-50 on if I should just pause here. Can I jump up to that? Wait, can I send my surfer guy out? How did I do that? Oh wait, that was the other suit. The techno suit. I don't like coming back to chaos. But I'm not sure what to do. Oh no, he's not gonna go over there. You do things over here? No. Dang. He's so fancy. One day we'll figure out what that does. Apparently we need the Batmobile. I don't know how to get the Batmobile. Okay, put your toy away now. Thank you. Alfred, do you need to do things? Are you in charge? Oh, more to destroy and then build? I don't know what you're asking for me there. Fuck if I know. Like that tray action. It's impressive. Is anything else destructible? We're not really getting pieces though. It doesn't mean anything. Loop up to there. What does it even mean? Need something more solid. I wonder. If you live at the zoo, among half might have the same middle name, Chaos. Let me rephrase that. Life chaos is expected. Game chaos, I can choose kind of what I do and I don't come back to. Although I don't think I have a choice tonight. Oh, wait, there's a way to go this way. What's over here? I think we came in that way. What's over here? Oh, there's a whole world over here. There's more stuff to break. Alright, I'm gonna break everything and then we're gonna go to bed. Because I don't know what to do and I don't feel like pulling together the mental fortitude to figure it out. Somehow we gotta open the Batmobile. Let it out of its confines. Did I break everything? There's no more to break? Break that. Yeah, there you go. It won't count for anything. Because it already saved. And it'll just take us back there, but still. But still. Aw, is she? She is. She's so cute. Oh. She's so tiny, or the babies are so big, or both. Illumination suit, yes, but also need Batmobile. I need to play this with my screen bigger for the game. There's too many little bitties on there. We need the Batmobile for in. And I think that's where we came in from. You gotta unlock the Batmobile though. There's a problem for next time, Serena. Return to the Batcave. We're already in the Batcave. I honestly thought this was the Batcave. Maybe it is. Well, progress will be lost. That's okay. I didn't accomplish anything post-save. I broke things. While flying, quickly taps X twice to boost. Have we flown yet? I don't think so. Oh! What? Was there a main menu option that I had just missed? Ogres and onions? The layers of this game confuse me. I like it, but I'm learning. Learning. Owie. You got me, boya. That's okay. I did his nails earlier, but he got silly first. I like how Lego characters are all the same height, but Batman's taller than the bad guys. It's cute. It's very cute. Beyond awesome. PlayStation, I was not very good to you tonight, but you were very good to me, and thank you. I appreciate you. Blurp. He's wearing he's wearing pumps. He's got little lifters or whatever they're called in his shoes. Aw, little beans. These wild babies. Being so cute and silly. He's wearing pumps. Oh my god. Where did my music's run away to? It's like Island Pop. Zeke, do you want to say goodnight to everybody? You have a foofle in your nose. Oh, you just shook it off. Okay. He had a fuzzball on his snoot. It startled me. I was like, dang, you have a really big booger. Hi! Do you want to come up and grace us with your presence? Here, come here. Come here. Give me a lap. Give me a lap. We're trying it. Come here. Come on. You can do it. If I don't stabilize myself, the chair will turn. Come here. Come here. Come on. Oh, you're such a cat. Come here. Just do it. Just do it. You can do it. Come here. Hi, good boy. There you go. Come on. Come on. Bring it in. Bring it in. Or just make air biscuits. Come here. A scoop. There you go. Ba-doop. We're going for a ride. We're going for a ride. We're going for a ride. Zeke! He's like the Batman. He blends into the shadows. Oh my god. We need the Zeke light. There we go. You're my handsome little boy. We're gonna say goodnight to everybody. Yes. Oh, the lovey boy. Say, Mom, really, I want my second can of food for the day. Oh, look, a cat. Here? This? No. This is my new man's. With beautiful, beautiful, clean teeth. He had some nice chompers. He didn't have any extractions. He just got his teeth cleaned and it was all good. He got blood work run. Everything is good, wonderful, normal, healthy. He's gonna live forever. And we're settling in for a lap. There we go. See, you can do this while we're gaming. You can do this almost all night long if you want to. I think he feels a little vulnerable sitting on my lap up here versus like in bed or in the corner in our chair. wherever. Because this is like the middle of the room. Or not the middle of the room, but closer to the middle of the room. I don't know. He seems a bit more hesitant about lap up here. Or maybe it's all of the lights and sounds. I don't know. Something about it is not quite the most comfortable for him yet about laying up here. You're such a pretty boy. Yeah, they will. Well, specifically my left leg will go numb. I don't know why. But it'll tingle. It'll go numb in the way of like you don't notice it until you go to move though. And then I'm like, oh fuck. Maybe that's what it is. Are you camera shy? See, I'm new to all of this. I didn't know I was signing up to be a stream kitty. It's okay. Oh, are you shy? Little camera shy. You handsome mans. Are you doing a purr? There you go. You doing a little purr. You're very cute and I'm trying to show everyone what a handsome boy you are. And you're like, I don't know about all of this. I don't know. Like, Mom, lap time is our time. Don't project this to the world. You're such a good boy. Are you curling in now? Aw. He got to turn around and hide. And then we're all good. Zeke Teefies? Zeke Tieferson? Is that your new name? He knows all the drama. He's got all the tea. Zeke Tieferson. Uh-oh. Here comes Voya. The babies are ready for more snack. Here comes Voya. Here comes Voya, baby boo. Hopping down. Dusky boo. I'm surrounded. I'm surrounded. He's against PDA. I mean, maybe. He doesn't want to take treats out of my hand. He's not averse to kisses, but kisses aren't his favorite. But still. And Voya's a little perplexed by all of this. I really thought Gunther would throw like a jealousy fit over the lap. But he seems to be fine with it. Voya, however, is a little... He's like, desk time is my time. I don't understand. Right now he's stalking Zeke's tail. Because Zeke also has a TikTok tail like Voya. But he also does flip his tail when he's annoyed. Which Voya doesn't really do. A hissy fit even, maybe. He's either about to put up one or jump on Zeke's tail. I don't know which. He's interested. I think Voya likes having a younger brother. They haven't played together too much yet, but they've played well together when they have. Voya's a professional muter. He muted me earlier tonight for probably like a good 5 minutes before I was told there's no sound. Aw, now you're a happy guy. You want to be in your own little world. Own little world. Alright, you gonna say nice? Say nice. You're a good boy. You're a good boy. Even though Zeke is younger, I just picture him as the old man. I see him as an old man too, and I have to remind myself, like, he's only about 5. Like, you're a youngin'. We got at least 10 more years together, kid. You're contracted in. I think it is his limp that makes me see him as older too. And he has like just a very like mature face. I don't know. He's not ugly. But something about his face just looks like a little bit of like an old man head. I don't know if it's just the shape of his eyes or what it is. Hey, baby boy. Aww. Thankfully, the limp is nothing to worry about though. Nothing is broken. Nothing is severely injured. It's just gonna take him some time to hopefully be able to stretch it back out again. Hi. But you lose, oh, big meow. You lose muscle mass, like, the less you move around, too. I think once he builds up some more, that'll be way better. Give him some more cushion for the play pushing. Oh my goodness. It's a baby boy. You're so handsome and cute. He's so snuggly. He's so calming. I can't help but think he would be a great therapy cat. I truly feel selfish having him. There are so many circumstances where I feel like he would just absolutely excel. And you just didn't get adopted until I walked in and decided to be a crazy lady. He would be a great therapy cat. I could totally see him as like a retirement home cat. He's so gentle. He hasn't given me a single love bite, I don't think. When he was in his crate at the rescue, yes, because he doesn't want you to leave. But he doesn't even swat at me when I stop petting him now. Which he didn't do mean before. It was more like a, hey, come back, bring it back. Bring it back now, y'all. More pets, more pets. World needs more crazy ladies. Depending on the kind of crazy lady, but with animals, yes. Making sure there's room in the shelters for other animals. I'd like to think so. I keep reminding myself of that. Like, I didn't steal him from a better or different home. I opened up a spot for one more animal to be where they want it to be. Which, when I picked up Void's meds, I said hi to Marguerite. Oops. But she was sleepy. She didn't care. There was a little orange cat from a barn in his old cage for a little while, like maybe 5 or 6 months old. Meow. He's very vocal. I don't know what that means yet. If I'm annoying or what. I don't know. He was named Stranger, and now there's another little guy in there that I can't remember the name of. Oh, there is such a cute little guy. One of the most beautiful and unique cats I've ever seen. At like the main table when I stopped in. He was found as a stray. It's just a really light colored tabby. Like a sandy tabby. He looks like a little cougar. That's a terrible picture, but still. I think it'll show up better like that. Do you just not like when I move? He was so cute though. His name was Kiefer. Oh, no, I was wrong. He wasn't a stray. He was transferred from downstate to avoid euthanasia. He's a very pretty boy. Look at his handsome man. He looks like a little wildcat. He's so pretty. He's so pretty. He's so pretty. So why'd you stop petting me and begin feeding me now, meow? Right, meow. I wonder. When I move forward, I balance my legs up a little bit. Where I'm not smushing him. Like I'm not leaning into him. But I think that's disturbing. Ah, it is. It's disturbing how he has his weight and balance distributed. When I'm moving up my legs. Okay, I'm sorry. It was a science experiment. I'll stop moving. What's wrong? You just want to sit there and have me not move? Okay. Do you not want pets? Only head rubs. Okay. He's turning into a monster. Munster has periods of time where like you can pet him, but otherwise he has periods of time where he wants to lay on you a certain way and do not touch him. He does not want to be pet. He will hurt you if you pet him. He just wants to lay on you and occupy your space. Steal your heat. Zeke just wants head rubs, I guess. That's what we want. Okay. I have now been either upgraded or downgraded to a chair within a chair. That's cool. boy cats are supposed to be the easy ones. Yeah, that was kind of it. Not to be like sexist, but you're acting like a girl, Zeke. You're being a girl about it. You're being a pussy. Ha, ha, ha. Okay. Now I need to cha and go to bed. I need to work on my car tomorrow. Either, I'm speculating, either I have a bad wheel bearing or I perhaps have a locked up caliper. I don't know. But we shall see. Depending on my mood tomorrow and how awake and alive I feel like making myself, I might garage stream. Otherwise, I might just grumble at it on my own time. I don't know. That's why I streamed the babies yesterday. I don't know if I'll be able to stream them tomorrow. But I'd like to try to at least attempt a garage stream if it seems feasible. I know. I do actually have to get good sleep tonight. How do? I found my Zarbee's sleepy things that I used to take a long time ago, though. I think it's just melatonin, but we're gonna try that tonight. You do need that before getting dirty. I am gonna be very dirty. It's impossible to work on things without getting dirty. Impossible. But thank you. I appreciate it. Zeke, what do you think? I think I am a grateful girly. How are we gonna plug in our nonsense here? Oh boy. Okay. You can do it. You're learning how to stream, cat. Uppy? Okay. Can I elevator you down? Oh my god. So that you don't have to jump so dramatically. We're learning. That's okay. He is such a baby meow for such a big boy. Thank you, Bebs, for a wonderful night. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your chats. Thank you for your support. And thank you for your company. Excuse me. Thank you for your time more than anything. Please do not forget that your time is very valuable. It's one of those few things in life that you cannot make more of. You only get what you get. And that's all you got to do whatever the fuck you want with. When you're able to stop by, I appreciate it. Do the utmost, whether it is for 2 seconds, 2 minutes, 2 hours, if I don't see you again for 2 years. When our times collide, it is beautiful, magical, amazing, and incredible, and I'm oh so grateful. Heron Foyer competing for the most pathetic meows. I know! Their pathetic meow is actually so similar. It triggers me. It's confusing. But like his pathetic meow is his regular meow, so it's even more confusing. Boy, what do you think? I think I need to fill your water bowl. The one is full. The other one is low. You gotta fill that before bed. I need to put another bottle in here. You Bebs want to keep up with me offline, hop into the Disky Boo. Otherwise, we got the fun stuff. Socials. Some more fun stuff. The schedule for when I will see you Bebs next. And thank you all for being a part of the Stream the Dreams project. Na 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 na. It's the song of the night. I don't know. And thank you for all being a part of No Nuts November. I appreciate you, Bibs. And do me one favor before. I know, Slavka's silly. Or maybe Charlie. I don't know. I don't even know anymore. That I do know, though. Do me one favor before I see you, Bubs, next, and that is remember that you are wonderful, amazing, incredible, spectacular, phenomenal, superlatively, absolutely, magnificently kind, and oh so gorgeous. Take all those compliments and put them in. I have 0 pockets right now, but you're a back pocket, you're a side pocket, you're a cute little pocket, you're adorable little shirt pocket, floating in suspended animation, wherever it needs to go until I see you next. You sweet bubbos, have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your evening. Get some good eats, some good sleeps. And if I don't see you, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you for everything tonight. And, boy, what do we say? We say, time to go, mommy. Nice. Thanks. Really helpful. 11 out of 10 coworker. He's just working remotely. He's really the boss man, is what it is. Thank you all again for a fun little, albeit confusing, Lego night and BB time. And I shall catch you guys on the flip side. Nighty night.